Hi friends, in this video I am going to discuss something about the alcohol toxicity. So alcohols are group of chemical substances that contain hydroxyl group. These are the hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons means these are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So any alcohol can be toxic if it is ingested in large quantities. Even ethanol. Ethanol also cannot be taken on a concentrate. It's a permitted levels only. It have permitted concentrations only we have to take it. So toxic alcohols are traditionally referred to the isopropanol, methanol, and ethylene glycol. So recognition and treatment of patients intoxicated with these substances can reduce the morbidity and mortality. So if you can identify that this person has taken this isopropanol, maybe you can initiate the treatment. If the person has taken methanol, you can initiate the treatment so that the morbidity and mortality can be reduced in these scenarios. So now we'll talk about the characteristics of the each alcohol. Ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol is also known as ethanol. The chemical structure of this one is CH3CH2OH. So it is derived from the fermentation of sugars and cereals. It is available as a beverage and as an ingredient of the food extracts, cough and cold medicines, and mouthwashes. It is rapidly absorbed across both gastric mucosa and also small intestine, reaching a peak of concentration at 20 to 60 minutes after ingestion. So the metabolism, if you see, ethanol will be converted into the acetaldehyde in the presence of alcohol dehydrogenase. This acetaldehyde will be further converted into the acetic acid in the presence of aldehyde dehydrogenase, and this acetic acid will enter into the citric acid cycle, converted into the acetyl CoA and enter into the citric acid cycle, and then finally it will be metabolized to CO2 and H2O. So the speed of metabolism, here it always depends on the amount of the alcohol that is consumed and rate at which it has been taken, it has been consumed by the individual, and also the genetic polymorphisms that are involved in the ADH and ALDH genes. So in non-alcoholic persons, ethanol is metabolized at the rate of 20 to 25 milligrams per deciliter. And isopropanol. Isopropanol is also known as isopropyl alcohol. The chemical formula is CH3, CHOH. CH3 is a low molecular weight hydrocarbon found in many of the mouthwashes, skin lotions, rubbing alcohols, and has our hand sanitizers. So generally this can be used as a substitute for the ethanol because there is no restrictions on the on purchasing of the isopropyl alcohol, and also it has widespread availability and profound intoxicating properties. So because of these three properties, many applications this can be used as a substitute for the ethanol. So rapidly absorbed across the gastric mucosa, it reaches a peak of concentration with the 30 to 120 minutes, half an hour to almost 2 hours after ingestion. You can see the highest peak on the blood concentration of this particular isopropanol. The small proportion of the isopropyl alcohol is excreted unchanged in the urine, and generally it is also metabolized via ADH to the acetone. So isopropanol will be converted into the acetone in the presence of alcohol dehydrogenase. The peak concentration of acetone can be seen only after 4 hours of ingestion. So it produces in the central nervous system depressant effects and fruity odor on the breath. The third alcohol is the methanol. So methanol CH3OH, it is widely used as an industrial and marine solvent, and it is used as a thinner in many paints and also paint remover. So although toxicity is primarily occurs from the ingestion, it can also occur from the prolonged inhalation or skin absorption. So methanol is rapidly absorbed from the gastric mucosa and achieves a maximal concentration 30 to 90 minutes after the ingestion. So methanol metabolism. small portion of the methanol will be excreted through lungs without any change, without metabolization. Methanol will be converted into the formaldehyde in the presence of alcohol dehydrogenase. This formaldehyde will be further converted into the formic acid in the presence of aldehyde dehydrogenase. This formic acid will be converted into CO2 and H2O, carbon dioxide and water, in the presence of folic acid. So formic acid is responsible for the majority of the toxicity. So formic acid conversion from methanol to formaldehyde, formaldehyde to formic. This formic acid as a substance which is responsible for the toxicity. So without competition for alcohol dehydrogenase, the methanol undergoes zero order metabolism, and thus it is excreted at a rate of 8.5 milligrams to 20 milligrams per deciliter per hour. So once the methanol experiences the competition in competitive inhibition from either ethanol or fomepizole kind of chemicals, the metabolism changes to the first order, and the half life will be extended to 22 to 87 hours. Fourth alcohol is ethylene glycol. So ethylene glycol means CH2OH. CH2OH is an odorless, colorless, and sweet tasting liquid. So as it reduces the boiling point, it can be used as a anti-freezing agent or the cooling agent. It rapidly absorbed from the gastrointestinal tract, and peak concentrations are observed in 1 to 4 hours after ingestion. So ethylene glycol itself is a non-toxic substance. It is metabolized into the toxic compound. Ethylene glycol is oxidized via ADH to the glycoaldehyde. So in the presence of ADH, ethylene glycol will be converted to glycoaldehyde. In the presence of ALDH, the glycolic acid will be formed. So this glycolic acid further converted into the glyoxylic acid. So glyoxylic acid further metabolized to the oxalic acid and glycine. So the conversion of the glycine requires pyridoxine as a cofactor, and conversion of alpha hydroxy beta oxidase requires the thymine as a cofactor. So that means B complex vitamins play a major role in the metabolism of ethylene glycol. So the oxalic acid combines with calcium to form calcium oxalate crystals. So in the presence of the normal renal function, then there is no competitive inhibition for alcohol dehydrogenase. The excretion half-life of ethylene glycol is approximately 3 hours. So in the presence of competitive inhibitors such as ethanol or fomepizole kind of chemicals, excretion half-life increases to the approximately 17 to 20 hours. So now this slide shows you about the different alcohols, its toxic substances. Isopropanol, acetone will be the toxic substance. So ethanol, in the presence of alcohol dehydrogenase, it converted to the acetaldehyde. Further, in the presence of aldehyde dehydrogenase, it will be converted into the acetone. Here acetaldehyde is an aversive substance. So third one is the methanol. Methanol will be converted into the formaldehyde in the presence of alcohol dehydrogenase. This formaldehyde further it will be converted into the formate in the presence of aldehyde dehydrogenase. This formic acid is a toxic substance. So next one is the ethylene glycol. In the presence of alcohol dehydrogenase, it will be converted into the glycoaldehyde. So later it will be converted in the presence of aldehyde dehydrogenase into the glycine and oxalate. Glyoxylate, the further it will be oxalate. This oxalate will be combined with the calcium, and calcium oxalate crystals will be formed. So this oxalate is a toxic substance. Pathophysiology. So each chemical we'll see one by one. Ethanol, methanol, isopropane alcohol, and ethylene glycol. So ethanol is not much toxic compared to the other alcohols. Ketone bodies such as beta hydroxybutyric acid and acetoacetic acid formation can be seen in the excess of ethanol consumption, and relative to the other alcohols, mortality is very low for this ethanol. So rapidly reversible with the fluid administration. Inconsistent increase in the serum and urine osmolarity can be seen. Next one is isopropanol. Isopropanol is metabolized to acetone. Clinical findings are abnormal pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and changes in mentation. So increased serum osmolarity can be seen in the isopropanol injection, and metabolic acidosis is normally absent, but maybe you can see the lactic acidosis after consuming the isopropanol. Hypotension produces lactic acidosis. Serum creatinine can be elevated in the absence of renal failure. Pathophysiology of methanol. So, laboratory abnormalities depends largely on the generation of formic acid. Metabolic acidosis, hyperosmolarity, retinal damage with blindness, putaminal damage, that is intracranial hemorrhage, and neurological dysfunction can be seen with the methanol injection. Hyperosmolarity and high anion gap acidosis can be present alone or together. Mortality can be high if not treated very quickly. Glycolic acid and calcium oxalate are the toxic metabolites. Myocardial and cerebral damage or renal damage can be seen. Metabolic acidosis, hyperosmolarity, hypocalcemia can be seen because the calcium is used for the formation of calcium oxalate, so that calcium reduced calcium levels can be seen in the individual. More frequent than the methanol intoxication, hyperosmolarity and high anion gap acidosis can be present alone or together in this individual. For treatment of methanol and ethylene glycol intoxication, there are several methods that can be adopted. As the absorption from the gastrointestinal tract is very rapid, gastric lavage, that means removing the alcohol, either methanol or ethylene glycol, from the stomach through the orogastric tube is very much essential. Or sometimes maybe you can induce the vomiting in the individuals, and use of activated charcoal. Charcoal generally will have large surface area, so that you can see the binding of toxins to the charcoal. That's why you can use the activated charcoal for this purpose. Within 30 to 60 minutes of intoxication or the ingestion can be used this particular thing. So for the oral consumption of this activated charcoal, nowadays charcoal is available with different flavors also. So administration of ethanol. So ethanol administration will attenuate the metabolism of alcohols. This is the part of therapy. That means here, as such, alcohol is not a toxic substance. So either isopropyl alcohol, methanol, or ethylene glycol, these are all not toxic as such, because their metabolites only toxic. That's why if you can stop the metabolism, so that this formation of the metabolites can be stopped and toxicity can be reduced. So ethanol has 10 to 20 times greater affinity for the ADH. It has been used in the treatment of methanol and ethylene glycol. So what happens is, so it will alcohol will go and bind to the ADH. The ADH will not be used for the metabolism of the ethanol or methanol or ethylene glycol. So ethanol serum concentrations of 100 mg per deciliter, it can completely inhibit the ADH. So, but ethanol is not approved by the FDA for the therapy. So, even though it is not approved by the FDA, many of the clinicians, they practice this as a competitive inhibitor. They use this as a competitive inhibitor and treat the patients intoxicated with methanol as well as the ethylene glycol. So the other chemical is fomepizole. Fomepizole is a chemical substance of 4-methyl pyrazole. It has 500 to 1000 times greater affinity for the ADH than the ethanol. So that it can completely inhibit the ADH. So if the ADH is completely removed from the body, automatically the metabolism of any alcohol will be stopped, and then toxic metabolites will not be formed. Although it is effective when given orally, it is available as intravenous preparation. So it is eliminated by the hepatic metabolism and the renal excretion also. So this fomepizole is not a toxic substance, very effective in preventing the metabolism of the methanol and ethylene glycol, approved for the treatment of methanol and ethylene glycol by the FDA. So next step is, now we have already prevented the metabolism of alcohols into the toxic substances, but alcohol entered into the even bloodstream also. Now the blood is having that but unmetabolized alcohol. this unmetabolized alcohol, or sometimes maybe you can see the toxic traces of possible metabolites also can be seen in so blood. So this can be removed by doing the dialysis. So dialysis help in delivering the base to the patients to ameliorate the metabolic acidosis. So classic hemodialysis or peritoneal dialysis can be used. The dialysis can be used in the treatment of severe isopropanol intoxications also. So treatment for the isopropanol intoxication is something different. It is not that much toxic. That's why supportive measures are often sufficient for the patient if they are not comatose or hypotensive. If persons are hypotensive is present along with the coma, then initiation of hemodialysis has been recommended. So initiate hemodialysis in the presence of severe coma or hypotension is suggested when the serum isopropanol concentrations or serum isopropanol levels are greater than 200 mg per deciliter. So to conclude my lecture, several of the alcohol intoxicants can produce severe cellular dysfunctions that lead to a very high mortality. As there is no inexpensive and rapid diagnostic tool to detect these intoxications, early treatment, including fimoprazole or dialysis, might have to be initiated before the definitive diagnosis is made. So, if you like this presentation, you can share the presentation. Thank you.